Good afternoon. Esteemed members of the Subcommittee on Africa, on behalf of the organization I represent, Amhara Association of America, Ethiopian Americans across this country, and all Ethiopians who have suffered the unconscionable brutality at the hands of the Tigray People's Liberation Front, the ruling party of Ethiopia, I want to thank you for holding this hearing and bringing awareness to a humanitarian crisis that has been unfolding before us for the past 26 years. The subject of today's hearing, democracy under threat in Ethiopia, is a misnomer in many ways, since democracy has never existed under this current Ethiopian government. Since the establishment of Tigray People's Liberation Front in their 1976 manifesto, they labeled their struggle as anti-Amhara oppressors. And in order to achieve their struggle, they must destroy the old and the dominant Amhara culture, which represents over 30% of the Ethiopian population, and replace it by a new and revolutionary culture. It is only through this that they may be able to secede from Ethiopia and establish the Republic of Tigray. The TPLF-led government has forcefully annexed historical Amhara lands of Wolkait, Tegede, Humara, Tzellemt, and Raya Azebo to Tigray. Under the late Prime Minister, Meles Zenawi, the TPLF transferred thousands of Tigray settlers to the annexed Amhara land in an attempt to change the demographic makeup of the region. As the ruling party of Ethiopia, TPLF has been and continues to commit ethnic cleansing on the Amhara people in Wolkait. Their native tongue, Amharic, is suppressed. Widespread discrimination, killing, arrest, torture, and confiscation of land led to many of the ethnic Amhara people in this region escaping to Gondar City, other regions of Ethiopia, and foreign countries for survival. In 2015, under the guidance of the Ethiopian Constitution's covenants, the Amhara people organized themselves and petitioned the Ethiopian government to have the Wolkait region to rejoin the Amhara state. The response by TPLF was to kidnap the officers of the Wolkait Amhara Identity Committee in the middle of the night in 2016 and charge them with terrorism. These officers were named in a joint letter to the UN Human Rights Council by 15 human rights organizations, including Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International. They are Colonel Demek Azodu, who is the face of the Amhara resistance, Getachew Ademe, Atalay Zafe, Mebratu Getahun, Alena Shama, Adisu Serebe, and Nega Bantihun. My family is from Wolkait. I myself was born in the Wolkait city of Humara. Some of the men arrested are either related to me or close to my family. The chairman, Getachew Ademe, was a student of my father's. Nega Bantihun is my cousin. Their only crime is being Amhara and petitioning the government for the Wolkait region to be rejoined to Amhara state. I have family members who have fled Ethiopia to neighboring countries because they are being hunted down. One escaping with bullet wounds. I have had to collect money to send to these young men who have fled to Sudan, Kenya, and Uganda. It has been both financially and emotionally challenging for us. But Wolkait and Raya Azebo are not the only areas where ethnic cleansing and genocidal acts have been committed against Amharas. We can cite in the areas of Benshangul, West and East Arsi, and Afar between 1990 and 1994. Close to 41,800 Amharas were killed and 70,000 Amharas were displaced from their homes. In the areas of Walega, in the year 2000, 1,200 Amharas were killed and 14,000 displaced from their homes. During this atrocity, children were thrown into fire, and a 4-year-old child was forced to drink the blood of her dead father. In Bench Maji in 2015, 600 Amharas were killed and 22,000 Amharas were displaced from their homes. In West Shua, 500 Amharas were displaced in 2015. Since the Amhara protest began in 2016, over 227, and these are government-provided numbers, have been killed, but we believe the numbers are much higher. This is just a small sample of the many atrocities committed against Amharas. As stated in the 2007 Ethiopian census that was released, the Amhara population was short by 2.5 million. A debate was not even allowed in Parliament when this fact was presented. Some estimates have the number now closer to 5 million. We believe there has been a systematic effort by the government to depopulate the Amhara population. Thus, the recent protest by Amharas was not about democracy or economics, but was simply about their identity, their land, and the need to survive as a people. Hundreds have been killed while peacefully protesting. Hundreds of homes burnt by security forces in retaliation against Amharas, and thousands imprisoned. We can never know the exact number killed, wounded, tortured, and arrested unless an independent and transparent investigation is conducted by an international body. When all these horrendous acts of genocide and ethnic cleansing were occurring, the world, including Ethiopian opposition groups, were silent. It is because of this silence the Amhara people had no other choice but to organize themselves so they may have a voice. It is because of this silence and the basic need for survival, the Amharas farmers in Gondar and Gojam decided to wage an armed struggle. One of the leaders of these brave farmers, Gobe Melki, was lost to Amharas just 2 weeks ago. The Amharas are not the only victims of this brutal regime, of course. We have witnessed the atrocious violence committed against Oromos, where thousands have been killed while peacefully protesting. The Gonso people, Anwaks, Afars, Somalis, and I can go on. The TPLF regime's reasons to represent 6% of the Tigray population, while at the same time suppressing the majority Ethiopian population. In the past 26 years, Ethiopia has received over $30 billion from the United States and over $20 billion from our allies. This figure does not take into account the humanitarian aid Ethiopia receives from the US, Europe, and other donor countries. Still, Ethiopia ranks as one of the poorest and corrupt countries in the world. Independent research has revealed a corrupt system whereby 2 to 3 billion annually is leaving the country. Ethiopia is again facing a massive famine, with an estimated 5.6 million Ethiopians requiring emergency food assistance by June 2017. The question Ethiopian Americans are asking is, where is all the US aid going? Where is the accountability from the State Department and European partners? This is not representative of a democratic form of governance, and may even be a failure by our own democratic government to account for taxpayer aid. Unaccountable support of the Ethiopian government does not serve the national security interests of the United States. I am honored today to be accompanied to this hearing by one of my younger brothers, Tirfe, who's a veteran of the United States Marines and who proudly served a tour in Iraq. He was inspired to give back because he valued and wanted to preserve the freedom that he and our parents were afforded as immigrants in this great country. My younger brother, Tirfe, has served in the United States Army. Ethiopian Americans are law-abiding and tax-paying citizens who are proud to be Americans and deeply cherish the security, opportunity, freedom, value of human rights, and representative democracy we have in America. However, we are very disappointed with the US foreign policy that has failed the Ethiopian people and have appeased a brutal regime. As an Ethiopian American-based organization, the Amhara Association of America has provided a 14-point recommendation that we believe will ensure our national security interests and move Ethiopia on a path to democracy. Thank you, and I look forward to any questions.